Hey everybody, this is an update to a earlier video I did called Taming a Taildragger. Ignore all this stuff right now because I'm doing another video on basically how to identify bad cells on your lithium polymer battery, because I invented this contraption to put loads on batteries and stuff, but ignore that. So what was interesting is part of taming my Taildragger, I talked about the toe of your main wheels of a standard landing gear airplane, and what your toe is if the wheels are towed in or towed out on your front landing gear wheels. And it created a little bit of controversy because quite a few people came out and just said, you know, I was full of crap. Or some people said, well, if you're a good pilot, it doesn't matter how your airplane handles on the ground. But I got some really good emails that came back to me. And I thought I need to share these emails with everybody, because I think that helps a lot of people that are trying to design and build, and people who just want to have good flying airplanes. Now look, if you're that ace crack pilot that can fly any airplane in the world, turn off the video now. You don't need it because you're better than all of us. But I'm going to read some of these emails, and I'm going to put them up over here. I am redacting their names and stuff like that because I don't feel comfortable sharing people's names that send me emails. Hi, Damon from Florida. I have a Hangar 9. I think he meant, hi, Damon, I'm from Florida, or hi, Damon from Florida. I have a Hangar 9 F6F. It was a mess on paved runways. I was about to sell it when I saw your video, so I added about 1/8 of an inch over a yardstick toe out to my main gear. It flies perfect now. Takeoffs and landings are easy now. If you're ever down in Orlando, we have to hook up. Thanks, buddy. So that was somebody that took an airplane. One thing that I'm realizing, a lot of these people that flew on grass never noticed their toe, or the plane handled bad, but they flew on pavement. The planes were difficult. Hi, Damon. Love your videos. A few points about aircraft main wheel toe with regards to Taildraggers. You would never want toe in or toe out on a full-scale aircraft. The reason is tire wear. And they spelled tire T-Y-R-E. I think that's British, maybe, the way you guys spell tire. Toe out does help tame an aircraft's ground handling, while toe in is terrible. Any toe in is trying to fix a bad design. I know I have read where a few experimental aircraft had said to need toe in, but that goes against everything we practice in designing aircraft. Some aircraft were designed with camber to help with axle flex. The Spitfire was one. Any good designer wants to make a plane that has zero bad habits. So the people who say that better pilot skills will help with inferior handling planes never designed them in the 40s through the 70s. It was at this time, I believe, we learned everything there was to know about aircraft landing gear design. Your video is correct about toe. On RC aircraft where you don't care about tire wear, T-Y-R-E, you are right about ground handling. I'm 96 and still kicking. I worked at one time or another for the big three aircraft, the three big in aircraft design. I came out of Caltech in 1947. I joined Facebook so I could follow your projects. We had a different word for haters back then. We called them managers. So this is somebody who worked, it sounds like, designing landing gear from the 40s to the 70s. And that was a really neat email. Here's another one. Hang on a minute. The first one was actually called Wheel Toe on my Hangar 9 F6F. The second one is called Landing Gear Toe. This email is called My P-51 is like a new plane. Dag, I wanted to write and tell you that you fixed my P-51. I fly at two clubs. One has paved runway and the other just is grass. Anytime I flew my P-51 off pavement, it would go crazy, but on grass it was fine. I watched your video and wondered about the toe of my airplane, on my planes. I loosened the gear struts at the strut part, at the retract part, and set about guessing 1 to 2 degrees of toe out. My plane flies great off pavement now. Dude, you're fantastic. So, and see, that's a theme that I noticed even for me. I mean, when I would fly my Taildragger airplanes off pavement, some of them I noticed were twitchy, and when I finally figured out, talking to other people who designed airplanes, that you want either zero toe or toe out, those problems went away. Hi, Damon. I worked for Beech in the early 50s and then Boeing. Most all planes have zero toe, but you are right that toe out helps ground handling. The forces and wears on the tires are why you don't want it on a full-scale airplane. Most people that are not aircraft engineers were never exposed to the center of mass of the aircraft, which is above the axis of the landing gear axles. I will have to find an old document and email you. It shows why toe in is bad. On another note, have you ever heard of the Beech Model 40, which I hadn't? Only one built, experimental bonanza with 2 engines on 1 prop. Love what you're doing. I would love to find out more about that Model 40. I could find where it's referenced in the Beechcraft Wikipedia that it was an experimental airplane, and it sounded like 2 engines, one sitting on top of each other through a gearbox with a single prop. Dag, I'm a huge fan. Love your videos about the air bike and your big yellow and blue plane. I watched your video on landing gear and tow, and boy, am I glad I did. Everyone at my club told me my E-Flight Mustang was tail heavy or nose heavy or had the throws set up wrong. My P-51 was almost impossible to fly off our asphalt runway, so I always flew it off our grass. It was great off grass. I had about 2 degrees of toe in, as that's what everyone had told me to do at our club. After watching your video, I went right to my garage and got my gear to a little bit of toe out. The next day I could fly was Friday after work. The plane handles completely different now. I think myself as a great pilot, but it was so frustrating by how hard my P-51 was to take off and land. Now just a little rudder and she tracked straight as an arrow. This is what's crazy. Some of the a-holes at the club says it's impossible that toe out helped. I would never take my P-51 to a fly-in that had a paved runway, as I looked like a bad pilot. Keep doing what you do, and you're helping the RC world one video at a time. Now, this last video I think is a joke. Okay, I'm not putting the names. Okay, I'll share the name because I think the name is BS, and it was from a Gmail account which had a really dumb name. But this is and I'm going to read this because this is bizarre. I can stand people that get on a soapbox and look down on others. You are so wrong about airplane tow. Toe in is bad. You have no idea what you're talking about, and you will lead others to screw up their planes. You must have toe out, dumbass. I have about 1 degree toe out on my planes, and they handle great. Go away, poser. Harold Shipman. I thought I knew that name, Harold Shipman, so I Googled it. He's a mass murderer that came out of England. He's a doctor that killed people. Now, maybe this person's really Howard Shipman. He's going to get mad at me. But, Harold. But, hey, Harry, here's something. You're agreeing with me here, okay? I don't know if this is one of my friends punking me, but I've always said toe out is better, and I'm going to reread what you wrote. You are so wrong about airplane tow. Toe in is bad. I agree with you, Harry. You have no idea what you're talking about, and you will lead others to screw up their planes. You must have toe out, dumbass. I agree with you, Harry, except on the dumbass part. I have about 1 degree of toe out, and my planes fly great, as they should, Harry. So, I'm sorry, Harold. If you're really Harold Shipman, I feel sorry for you, because that's the name of a mass murderer in England. It was a doctor that killed a bunch of patients. So, whoops, I just knocked out one of my light bulbs, guys. Well, I'll put it back in a minute. So, look, everybody. All I'm trying to do is help people. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. I'm trying to share my experiences of my aircraft designs. I've designed the MSL2 over here, the MSL1. I'm not new to the rodeo, and all my planes are designed to fly fabulously, handle fabulously, and I'm just trying to help others that are building and designing their own aircraft, okay? If you are an expert and know everything, awesome. You don't need to watch any of these videos. But if you're like the thousands of people that are younger and getting into RC and have reached out to me over the last 13 years, hopefully this is helping you. So rock on, everybody. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. So be safe.